Y'all know what it is.
Most people don't go through an acquisition. Most people don't, they work their whole life and they run their business until they retire and they're done. You worked, half of your career and then you sold and got out. Can you talk about that process and how it happened? And were you looking to sell or did they approach you?
It's a great question. And then you're lucky, if you can get through that, you're one of the few. I was lucky in a lot of ways. I had made the decision personally that it was time for me to move on to the next thing because I had taken that business as far as I could. So for me, like my business is always kind of the thrust that causes me to get to the next level of life, to level up in life, to be more than I was last year. And so business is the vehicle for that. And so if I feel like I'm getting complacent and I'm not on the outer edge of my capabilities and I'm not being forced to learn and master new things, I get bored. And it's kind of where I got with that company. I'd already grown it to as big as I could in my market. And I could have probably like taken it regionally or taken it to another city, but I didn't really have the appetite for it. So I made the decision like, okay, I've done this for 15 years. It's time to figure out something else. And so by the time I made the decision and the time I, wire transfer in the bank was a little over 2 years. And those 2 years were really, really tough because it's kind of like you made the decision you're going to like leave your wife, but you're still living with her. And it was really hard because it was just like emotionally, it was no longer going to be mine. And so you kind of come to grips with that. And then you go through the process of buyers coming into your business and, evaluating it. And then you do due diligence with one of them. And that's excruciating. So it was a really challenging time. I'm glad I went through it because I learned a lot. And, it made me stronger, made me wiser, more humble. So it was a good learning experience for me, but it was also hard to accomplish, hard to execute, and also emotionally difficult because I'd had the business for 15 years. It was my identity for who I was. Now that after I sold it, I was like, oh wow, this is not my baby anymore. I actually cried, and so it was emotionally hard, mentally hard, and it was not one that I was prepared for because I didn't really build the business for it to be sold. If I could have done it differently, rewound, like if Doc Gordon jumps
Brown.
Doc Brown comes up in the DeLorean and we jump in and go back to 2005. I could have laid out an exit plan and like executed against that over a 5-year period of time and made my life a lot easier. But I didn't really do that, and so I was trying to reverse engineer a lot of things to make it sellable. And so I guess the takeaway here is if you have dreams of selling your business, one, you got to build a business that somebody might want to buy. So it's got to be profitable. It's got to have predictability. It's got to have durability. But also you need to like go through a process of curating it to be able to be sold and to be acquired. And there's a great book about that called Built to Sell, that if I had that book in 2005 would have saved me 5 years or 2 years of hell and probably doubled my outcome.
Yeah, Built to Sell is an incredible book. Actually, it's one of the first ones when I decided to begin reading again. That was one of the first ones I picked up. And and I feel exactly the same. Actually, that book was very surreal for me because working in advertising and marketing, it was as if he was in my back pocket, except for he was doing everything the right way. And so because
gone through all the things that you're going through and all of the things you screwed up, and he was like, if you had that roadmap,
at
least this is me speaking, I could have avoided a lot of pain.